All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is David with Lights and Lug Nuts, kind of a semi bright reviews channel. I've been slacking quite a bit, had quite a bit come up at my full time job. A coworker of mine got seriously injured and is in the hospital and whatnot. But we're going to get this kick back off and get started. And so I've been thinking long and hard about how I wanted to put all this together. And I decided that I think we're going to look at the bases first. That's going to be the groundwork for these lights, these watermelon lights in particular. And before I got into this, really, I didn't realize that there was as much difference in the bases as there actually is. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the bases of these lights, these watermelon lights. And today we're going to be starting off with the Grand General Classic Watermelon glass lens and stainless steel kit. It's 92435 as the kit. Now, this particular light that I'm going to be working with is the one that comes in dark amber and is the 1157 base. So, what we're going to do, we're going to tear down one that I've actually got right here in front of me. And so what you can see here is I've already got this mounted on the test sheets that I've kind of demonstrated on how we design this and whatnot. So as I take, well, let me turn this on. I'm going to take the lens off here. I've already mounted a bulb in this one. I can't remember if I have a clear or an amber bulb in this right now. But we're going to pull this apart. We're going to look at the different pieces that go into this. And we're going to show you a little bit later on what makes this kit different than, say, a Plus kit, which I can show you right here. Let's go back to the web view here. And you have 92435 as the classic kit, and then you have 92420, which is the Plus kit. Now, there's differences in the two, and that's what I want to show you because you may or may not be familiar with these. And I also want to take a look at several other things that make this a little bit different. So we're going to go back to the classic kit here. I'm going to go back to my teardown. And what you can see here, we have our regular stainless steel bezel. We have Phillips head screws that mount that bezel to the base. We have our dark amber lens. It is glass. It is marked with the Grand General's glass markings on it. I'm going to set this off to the side. You get a rubber O-ring that goes around the watermelon lens, and that mounts in between the bezel and the glass to kind of help water seal that. And you get a foam gasket here. Now, in my infinite wisdom in mounting this, I accidentally punched a hole in it because I did not have this lined up properly one time when I mounted it. So that is my mistake. And we have a stamped stainless steel base. Okay. So that stainless steel base, like I said, is stamped. Now the kit does not come, well, you know what? I don't remember. No, the bulb does not come with the kit. So I had to purchase the bulbs. Now, in this one, I had an amber bulb. But what I really want you to look at is this stainless steel base is actually stamped into, or the bulb housing is stamped into the base. One thing that I've noticed through the limited testing that I've done already, so I'm going to take a clear bulb here. We're going to put it down in this base and give it a little twist. Now, what I need you to look at, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up real well. Now, I apologize for my rooster out here crowing. Okay, here's a good shot. You can actually see the filament and how that is lined up in that Grand General base. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie, and I'm actually going to mark the axis in which that filament is sitting in that base, because this is going to make a difference later on, and I want you to pay attention to this. This is the direction that filament sits when sitting with that bulb. Okay, try to get that reflection out of there. You're seeing the reflection of the camera in the stainless. Now, the two bolt holes, or the two screw holes here, are where the glass will actually mount like so. So here's the problem. That filament is going to cast a shadow, and you'll see this later when we do, is going to cast a shadow on the outsides because it's not projecting as much light here, and the actual uprights of the filament will cast a shadow on itself. So this will actually make a huge difference. So if you're a very big stickler on the light pattern that your lights output, this is something that you need to take into account. Now, I do know someone who I've been talking to here recently because he produces his own lights, and I'm going to show you one of his products here in another video very soon, who was such a stickler on his light output pattern that he would push out the bulb base, reclock the base. He would actually spin it in the base itself, reclock the bulb socket into the base so that his filament actually lined up. I would probably, if it were me, I would have turned this one counterclockwise about, 15 degrees or so, to where the filaments would have lined up here so that my shadows from the bulb filament would have actually been in line with the indents in the glass, because that's where you're going to see the big difference. I'm going to pull this bulb out for just a second. We're going to look at an LED bulb. Now, this bulb is from Sonora Light Company. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. There you go, Sonora Light Company. And this is one that I bought from Joe over there at Sonora Light Company. Great guy. But here you can also see another example. You can see where the LEDs project on Joe's lights here. This is why it's important, because, again, it does not line up with the indents in the glass. So if you're going to use something, you need to be aware. This is the classic. This is the standard lens kit. It's a very nice base. However, this is something that's going to come into account later on and is going to affect your light pattern output, and I'll be able to show that to you. However, it's a very good base. It's an 1157 base. The ground wire is grounded through one of the studs, and you have two hots, one for a low power, one for a high power if you're using a standard 1157 bulb. If you're using the dual rev bulbs where they're dual color, then you could have a bulb that is, say, a clear and a bulb that's purple, or a red and a blue, or whatever you wanted to use, but you would just want to make sure that you use a clear lens. However, I also want to test some of the irregular colors, like, say, we use a dual rev bulb and we use a purple bulb, see what it would look like behind a dark amber, because I am curious as to what kind of light output and what unique colors that's going to give us. But what I wanted to look at today was this base. Again, this is the Grand General 1157 standard base. This is not their plus base. This was their kit with the standard glass, an O-ring, the stainless steel bezel, and the foam gasket, which comes from them. So now you have an idea of that base, and I'm going to show you some of the differences, and I think you're going to be kind of excited to see what some of the differences are. But that's the standard base. That's what you see there is what you get. Let's see. I don't have a price on that one, but it's something that I can get to you. So check back here pretty soon, and I'll have another video up of an 1156 Plus base and how they differ from the standard base. All right, man. Y'all have a good day.